Welcome, beautiful people. Hello, it is the top of the hour here. Welcome to the RFD Talk. I am super excited to be here this Monday evening with you. It's the top of the hour on Monday evening. And I want to say hello to all of our listeners, WVOL, the mighty 147 Nashville's Heritage Radio Station. And I'm your host today with the most, RFD. I am super elated today because our topic today is make money work. So that's our topic, and I can't wait to get into our topic today. But before we get into our topic, I just want to see, how was your weekend, lovely people? I'm hoping everybody had a beautiful weekend. It was one of those weekends, I think the sun came out, then we got a little rain and we got a little cold. So I think it was one of those weekends that you could enjoy a little bit of everything if you're in the greater Nashville area. So I brought my coat out, I had my hat on, then I rolled the window down and took a little breeze as well. So I'm hoping your weekend went well. So this week, I'm very excited because I got a word for us. Of course, RFD segment, the 90-day challenge, is the word. What did RFD say? And one of the things I always say is, I'm a little country city, so you got to pay attention to what did RFD say. That's one of my favorite segments because sometimes my kids be like, Mom, that is not how you say that. What are you trying to say, Mom? So what I'm going to talk about today is the affirmation. One of the affirmations that came to me today while I was preparing for this show, and this, I thought of, what is my word for today that I really want us listeners and viewers to remember. And the word for today on our 7th segment together here, it is the affirmation for the day is, I am worthy. Did you hear me, listeners, viewers? I am worthy. Worthy. That word right there just resonated with me today. After such a fun weekend, and I'm part of a amazing church here in Greater Nashville, and being fed the word this weekend. It was such a great word. And my pastor, Dr. Ben and Dr. Jewel Tanker out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, are my pastors, and they were just teaching that word on how you just have to just know, and you can trust God, and you're worthy and deserving. And one of the things he was saying, like, you might have a dream and you might can't afford the dream. Right? The dream is like God calls you to be an executive producer of your television and radio show. And then you're like, God, we're okay. And so you're like, okay. And so the money may not always be there when you start a business or a dream, or you step out on faith and you do trust in yourself, and you line yourself up with your word, that the word says that you can do and be all that you can be. And then you turn around and you're like, God. And then, so one of the scriptures that come to me today, so I'm worthy what came to me today. But the other scripture that came to me today, one of our listeners, our viewers was here. One of my co-special guests was here, the very first guest, and y'all might remember her, Keita. She was Keita Moses out of Murfreesboro. She's a pastor, and she left me with a word this morning. I was on her page this morning, and it was Proverbs 3 and 5, and she had encouraged me because she was my first guest, and she shared her daily word with us today on her platform, and it was resonating with me. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And that's the scripture today I'm giving you guys, is Proverbs 3 and 5. So, sometimes with this type of the time of the year, we just really got to remember that one of the things the word said to me was that I'm worthy, and that I could trust in the Lord. And what her daily word was saying to us, we can trust God emotionally, and sometimes we'll trust him with our minds and our heads. But do we really, really, for my listeners, I want you to think about, do we really, really trust him? Like, literally just trust him. So you had to see her daily word to me to get the whole meat of it to you guys. But it inspired me, and I want to share that with you today. So I'm hoping that inspires some of you listeners to know that sometimes you just got to trust him. You got to trust him, not with your emotions, not with your mind. But you just got to know that you know that you know that God is with you and that you can trust him. So that's Proverbs. And then I want to quickly, before we talk to our guest, because I can't wait to get our guest on. She's sitting here and I can't wait for her to tell us about making money work. And so that's our topic. But first, I definitely want to shout out my sponsors today. We want to shout out Shea Me Down Handmade Body Butter. And if you're interested in getting some Shea Me Down, this is a great time to order, because this year, at the end of the year, when you're ashy, dry, and if you have eczema, this is an all natural product. And Shea Me Down, you can find it on Facebook, and you can also find it at the Shea Me Down email, gmail.com. And then one of my other sponsors is, we got Shea Me Down, and we have Majestic Elegance Candles, which is one of my favorite candle distribution centers. So if you're looking to get candles, you want to contact Majestic Elegance Candles and Company, where it's 100% soy candles. Can my Facebook listeners hear us out there? Let me know if you're there. YouTube, thank you for being here. My YouTube followers, my replay viewers, we are super excited. So definitely want to remember those words and those affirmations today. But we won't, no further ado, we won't hold you for what you came for, my faithful, great listeners. We went over the what did RFD say? And so if you want to call in today, I also invite you to call in. If you find that you have questions, you can call in at 615-141-3968. Excuse me. It's 615-1. Oh, I don't know why I want to say 415-3968. So if you want to call in, please call in if you have any questions. So no further ado, we have Coach Monique in the house, and she's going to talk about make money work. And we're excited to have you. And one of the questions I have for you, Coach Monique, thank you for being here with us. We're so excited. She's not just a coach, she's an author, she's a mother. She has a lot of amazing titles. And I can't wait to talk about some of these titles and how does she get to this place of greatness. And I love your t-shirt, girl. That is so cute.
Thank you. It is my slogan and tagline. I'm not your broke best friend. We woke best friends.
Oh, say that one more time for our listeners. I want to make sure they heard you.
I'm not your broke best friend. We're woke best friends. We always speak life.
Oh, I love
over
it.
Everything, in particular our money.
Yeah. Oh, particularly the money. Okay. Well, she's here about to drop us some gold and diamond nuggets right before the holiday. I thought it was a great time for the listeners, for the WVOL listeners and the RFD Talk listeners. Come on and find out what does it mean about money at this time of the year. So can you tell our audience a little bit about your background and how you became to be who you are now?
I would love to. So as she said, I'm Monique. She said Coach Monique, and I like that title. It is one of the many hats that I wear. And you know how the world has evolved. When I started this company originally, almost 2 decades ago, this literal platform didn't even exist. There were no life coaches, purpose coaches, financial coaches. I just knew that after I graduated from college at MTSU with my bachelor's degree in business finance, that when I was working in corporate world for a bank, literally, and then I was a bill collector, I realized there was a huge disconnect in personal finance and business finance. And it was actually brought to my attention in my own personal finances. Girl, when those student loans hit, it was like game on. Like, all of that cushion that you had, living in that debt system became crystal clear once I got out of the safety of school and those payments started hitting. So that's how I started this company. Like I said, it was almost 20 years ago. When I was only a single mother of one at that time, I was literally letting daycares raise my daughter, because between school, church, and trying to feed her and support her on my own, there was no time for me to actually be a mother. And that really weighed on my heart. And then also, as I said, I was a bill collector. So, imagine being on the phone trying to get somebody to pay to keep their car. And I'm literally one paycheck away from losing my own car. So that is what lit the fire in me. Then I ended up, and new people starting out in a business. I, hit a lots and lots of bumps in the roads. Just didn't have good preparation. When I left corporate America, I just knew my heart said go and help these people, so I went. No parachute. I didn't get child support. There was no, mother or father handing me, hey, I'll pay these bills for you. It was me and my baby. And my baby at that time was almost 7 years old. So needless to say, I was like, ooh, okay. So after about, less than a year, I was okay. Well, this was nice. I've helped a few people, but now it's time for me, to go back to corporate America. So I put the business on hold. I had a beautiful, business plan. I mean, this thing was so good. When I sold my house a few months ago, I came across, guess what?
What did you come across?
That business plan.
Wow.
Now, fast forward to, I've had another business. I used to own a daycare. Love children and I love teaching, as you can tell. I love helping people. I even started that daycare to help single mothers. So when I closed my daycare and I said, I know God said, do this 20 years ago. Mind you, I didn't know that this business plan was anywhere to be found. I'm thinking this is long and gone, but my heart still said, go and do this. I went, did it, started the company 3 years ago, Make Money Work. Wrote the book, What's Up With My Money and What's Up With My Credit. We'll get there in a minute. These are not the same things. And a lot of people get that mixed up. That's one of the things I like to coach people through. And then came across my old business plan. Robin, it is exactly, precisely what I wrote. What God spoke to my heart again 3 years ago to pick back up is literally almost word for word the business plan that I did 2 decades ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, talk about
bring it back to you plain.
And
you
write
yes.
the vision, make it plain. It is, he means that. He means that he would not let my heart let it go. And you know what my business has done since then, it has just grown and exploded. As I said, I used to be a author for a personal finance column in Favorite Magazine. And then I turned those columns into What's Up With My Money, What's Up With My Credit.
Wow.
And here we sit today, Coach Monique.
Oh my greatness, girl, look at all the great things you have accomplished. And the other thing is you were a single mother 20 years ago, you and your baby, but you ran into some challenges, but you took the challenges. It sounded like you had so much faith that you within God, and you knew that he wasn't going to leave you like that. And you then went and had a daycare and wrote a plan 20 years ago to have this business unfold and evolve in the way it is.
Exactly.
And he still kept you on your path, is what it sounds like, what I heard.
Yes, my heart to teach people. And like I said, when I came out of school and was faced with that, student loan debt, student loans are, about to hit me, literally one paycheck, no support from anyone. That's like real life. That is not that textbook. That's not that textbook stuff that, do this here, do this there. And they're only teaching that even to business finance majors. They're not teaching it on a personal level. You are only taught in the way that it benefits the business. It's a whole different game plan for your personal. So yes, I even had to overcome the shame of, oh my God, how am I sitting here as a graduate with a bachelor's degree in finance, but my own personal finances are trash. Girl, I had a 454 credit score. Ask me what it is today.
What is it today, sis?
825.
825. Wow.
Yeah, and it's been that for so many years.
Great.
And it's because, and this is why when I tell you the passion that I have to teach people how to, either if you want to stay in the debt system, I'll show you, how to use credit. but use it to benefit you more than your creditors. But if you want completely out, let me show you how to make your money work and set all of this up so that you move on with your life, so that you're not constantly worried about, how am I going to pay this? Well, I can't launch this business because I don't have these finances, or I can't grow my business because I don't have this credit score. Do it all, be done with it, and move forward in your purpose.
So you're doing it all. So you learn how to take your personal credit and also have strong business credit. See, that's one of the things that we are not taught. So now maybe I didn't understand exactly. So how did you know how to work on your business credit versus working on and then how it turned your personal credit around as well? That's what it sounds like you're saying.
So my business degree, business finance, was on that end of it. So the business end, I had all the knowledge, literally I graduated with a degree from MTSU in it, a BBA.
Okay.
So that's great. The business, I had the reverse. Most people, start out with personal credit that they then turn into business credit. But I knew how to work the business end of it. I knew how to set up a business, make this thing run, pay your people. That is the stuff I was trained to do.
Wow.
The personal stuff is what I had to hit my own head with. And then learn those lessons, which is why, like I said, 20 years ago, I'm grateful to God. And my 14-year-old son is who said something to me recently that unleashed some stuff that I'd been holding in. And I was, lamenting basically about, gosh, it's been 20 years. And imagine how much further I could have been, had I've already had this business set up when Facebook, even, because that has just completely changed the game. Like I said, that business plan I used to have, I had to sit across I literally had to sit across a table. I had to, be in a physical location, and I was limited to my space, right? Facebook literally didn't even exist when God put this business plan on my heart. Now that this is opened up, now it's like I can be anywhere and teach it. So the process that God took me to, I had to learn myself that, wait a minute, you had to go through those bumps and bruises so that I could connect with somebody that didn't have the steps that I had. I had the business piece. I didn't have the personal piece. Mm-hmm. And I had to walk myself through that personal piece.
Wow. So what were some of the eye openers to help you walk through your personal piece? I mean, because I know you had the knowledge from school, and then you had to really evaluate your own personal. What was the turnaround for that? And what was the things that made you get your breakthrough in the personal? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. So it literally just that. I ended up like I said, as a single mom, it's just me and her. And I'm realizing that, the daycares are the after school care is literally raising my daughter. That made me say, okay, wait a minute. What's more important? Is it more important for me to just barely make these bills paid? Or is it more important for me to take care of what God has given me? And to me, I chose her. I literally, that's when I tell you, when that revelation came on me, I was just done. It wasn't no, let me put in a 2 weeks notice or let me put in a, 5-month game plan. I jumped. So just that whole, oh my God, I'm out here and this has to be done this way. So my first step was, okay, so since you got a 454, you can't just have a 454. You need to have this to have your business credit. One of the things you were, I think you alluded to was, what about how do you get the business credit set up? Well, when you are starting a business, your personal credit is your business credit. Oh. So that's what I mean by I had the business knowledge. I wasn't even concerned about my personal credit until I put together. Now I've launched this business, and girl, you got to fix all of it. You don't get to just leave that.
Okay. Now I hear you and see what that bump was that really got you to open your eyes.
And yes.
And so what is exactly tell us more about Make Money Works. What is the origin of that? That's one of the questions I wanted to ask you.
Okay. So, as I said, I was, a single mom, and so when I came back, I was a single mom again, by the way.
Okay.
for 8 years. I've been a new single mom with two added humans. They're both teenagers now. But when I was closing my daycare, because again, God was pulling on me again with, no, you need to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
So I did. And as you know, all of these 17 years, I've still been, helping people. I was just doing it for free. It was the, what everybody says, you need to turn what your hobby is into a way to get paid. So my first step of that was I started teaching a seminar at my church. I did a workshop at my church. Then I started doing workshops. I did at family reunions, just wherever I could get in front of a group of people and say, no, do this way, set your money up this way. But I was doing it for free, not charging, anybody anything. And when it came time for me to, close the door on the daycare, it was okay. So now it's time for you to go and do what you do, but do it where it supports you in a way that you can just do this and write. So that's how I ended up even writing that book that was released the first book was released in 2019. So that's how What's Up With My Money even, came to exist.
Can I see that
Sure,
beautiful book? I
sure.
love the color
Now-
that it's in.
Now this
What's
is
Up With My Money?
this is the first edition. We are in the process of doing releasing the second edition and What's Up With My Credit.
That's I'll have to get that copy of one of those. It looks like a
Yes.
good book. I love the cover.
And actually, I just give these away. I give the first edition away now
Okay.
because I'm releasing the second edition.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, I am hopefully finishing some stuff up before the end of the year anyway.
Oh, great. So what's the difference with Make Your Money Work? Make sure I'm slowing down. Make Money Works in other financial coaching services.
So here's the biggest difference. People think that their credit score is the problem. They always typically come to me, do you, repair credit? And then even this conversation that we're having, you're going to start having a lot of notices about people that are talking about credit. I do not. Credit is a symptom. And that is the first and most important thing I have to train people on when I'm coaching them. People think that their credit score is what's keeping them out of XYZ ABC. It is not. It's your money. It's always your money. So imagine if, again, let's take my former credit score as a 454. How do we think I got there? I wasn't paying my bills. Why wasn't I paying my bills? I didn't have the discipline. I didn't have the money sometimes. And then I just didn't understand what it was that was keeping me out of what the 454 meant, what it was costing me to have bad credit. So that is the difference in Make Money Work and what I do and how I train my people. Like I said, people come to me often, more often than not, with, do you repair your credit? Do you repair your credit? And every time I see one of those, repair credit services, I'm like, oh, no, you're just keeping them in a product. Like my clients in particular, I don't even let them hire me for the same program. Now, I have various programs that'll walk you through separate stages, but you can't hire me to fix your credit, because as I'm fixing your credit for you, I am teaching you and showing you, do this way, pay this way, this, and this, so that you can do this yourself. What has to be trained and coached is the mindset behind it.
I love that part. I do. I think that's the major key, because I remember being not so educated, but I made some bad choices before my credit is where it is now. And I am saying that to say, you're right. It is the being disciplined, and it's just, I think about that when I changed my credit score. I thought about it as in my eating habits now. Right. You have to be disciplined.
I'm so glad you made that reference. But yes, like with weight loss, that is the one that I, equate for people. It is as simple as, you're supposed to eat this. You know what your weight will do if you don't drink this water, if you don't work out. It's the exact same thing. You have to retrain yourself. And then this doesn't take a year. Like when companies, other companies, you're asking for the difference between make money work and other companies. It's not supposed to take you 2 years to get into a house to repair your credit. This isn't supposed to take you even a year. We all know about a habit. There are certain things you can do in 30, 60, 90 days and you're done, but you have to keep doing it.
Wow, you are sitting some revelation over here to me. I'll be getting chills with these great co-hosts I'll be having out here. Thank you, God, for bringing you here today. Because when I think about that, when you say habits, it's one of the things I do know that we have to do is look at those habits, because I'm in that season. RFD is like, what is your habits that you need to break in this season? And when it came to money, I used to just, I didn't want to practice that. I did not want to practice it because it just seemed so stupid. But when I got my credit score there, I was like, yes, now it's like easier it's easier to execute being aware of your money and things now for me, because I've exercised releasing those bad habits more. So you're right. I have to tell the listeners, you definitely have to work on bad habits, and that is the toughest part, is letting go of bad habits. It really
and
is.
that's where you need a coach, just like losing weight, just like anything that you need to train yourself to do. And then once you know it, you can't forget it. A good coach has you in a position where you should be able to fire them, and that's my goal. Fire me.
I love your goal. You have mentioned that to me. We had a light conversation, and I just love how your confidence and you're so confident with that. You're like, listen, I've been working with you for 30 days now. Look, you need to go on and move. And I think that's how we have to do it when we're coaching or mentoring, because it's almost like the ego, and how the ego pushes the bird out there, like, I done did what I had to do with you, and now it's time for you to go fly. Be who I've given you the seed, I've given you the instructions, and now I need you to exercise. And I think that's even how we are when we're children. We're crawling, and then we know the kid is going to fall down a few times. We got to give them time to know how to stand up and stand on their own. That's very good. I love that. I don't hear a lot of I have a lot of great coach friends, but I don't hear them say that, I will cut, it's the end. If there comes an end, I know me, I love being coached in different areas. I've had many coaches, and I still have coaches now. I still have coaches now. RFD have coaches as well. I got a nutritionist coach, Jen, in the house.
She's the bomb.
Yeah, she got me on detox last week. Now you got me looking at all my numbers closer. Tonight I'll be going home, evaluating my numbers, because I'm inspired by you. Thank you for bringing that up. And then also another thing I would like to say, that is so amazing that you was able to discover that with yourself. And one other thing I did learn in business too, because the business and personal life, what you're saying, I remember in business growing, you got to know the numbers talk to you, right? The numbers never lie. Now we can try to be somebody that we're not, but we can even try to fix it, manipulate the numbers. The numbers are so effective.
So that's so funny to say that. One of the funniest things I tell my clients at the beginning, Robin, I tell them all the time, now listen, I've been doing this for 20 years off and on. There's nothing you can do or say that I haven't seen. And likely I'm the one that did it and came from the other side of it. So I can see these numbers before we ever even have the second call. I know what you're going to tell me. I even know what I need to work on to get you fixed on your own. So when people do that, just like what you said, the beauty of numbers is you can't fudge them.
You can't fudge them. I love it.
You can't pretend it. You can keep eating that cake if you want to. Them pounds gonna show up somewhere. Same thing with your credit. Them pounds, that money is showing up somewhere.
It is a relationship with money. It really is, and we all have to figure that relationship out. It's almost like those personal relationships that we have with family and friends. We kind of got to figure out their love walk or their love language, right? So that we can stay in a healthy harmony and peace with other people that we
And
love, right?
boundaries.
The key
And
word. Oh,
boundaries.
boundaries is one of the things that, yeah, RFD had to learn boundaries too. And I learned a lot of stuff. Hard head make a soft butt. That's what my grandfather used to say, listeners. So he's like, your hard head make a soft butt, Robin. So I was that hard head, like, a hard head. But so I'm grateful for you sharing that with us today. And tell us why you still what's your why? I apologize. What is your why? You're still in this, like, 20 years later, servicing families this way.
So my why is just actually what my why was originally. I used to be a bill collector. And there was this one woman in particular. And of course, I don't even remember her name, but I remember her story. I was I was a trainer. I was a mentor, and I would train other bill collectors. I was good at what I did. I like to tout myself that I had one person cuss me out, and he literally heard my name and who I was calling from and went in. But other than that, I could work with people to get what we all wanted. Them in their car, and I need their money. Period. Right? Well, there was this one woman that she hit me with and I was newly realizing I need to get my life together, right? So I was in the same probably month, I would say, I was in my bedroom in the middle of the night and I got saved, right? Joseph Prince, yeah.
I love Joseph Prince. That's one of my favorite. I like some favorite television evangelists, and he one of them.
Well, Joseph that word.
I love it.
This was almost, like I said, it was almost 20 years ago. Joseph Prince was on. In the middle of the night, I wake up, and when I tell you he's speaking the most clear English ever, I didn't even know. Of course, I didn't know him beforehand, but I didn't even know that he even had a heavy accent until like almost 2 years later. But seriously, God just he spoke to me in a way that was crystal clear. It was as clear as my own voice, right? So I get saved in the middle of the night, and then my light switch went off. It was, oh my God, no, I really got to do stuff differently. So sure enough, God sends this client to me, and she's very behind, extremely months, lots of months. Like, we should have had the car. And she told me, she said, I use this car to take people back and forth to church.
What?
And when I tell you, talking about come undone in your workplace, I came undone. I came undone at that desk, girl. And that was when it clicked. Monique, these people are more than I need to show. I need to get this money. I need to hit this number. It became personal to me.
Oh, girl, you now my heart is going out too, because I remember carrying some kids to church, and I remember getting the car repossessed. Okay. I was that lady at one moment.
Yes.
I like get the kids in my caravan back in the day when my oldest kids was young. And they say, Sister Rob, you bringing all these kids to church. I said, well, they was on the neighborhood block and they wanted to get in my car. And that same car, when we moved out here self-employed, and we went from having faith self-employed to like credit broke and everything. And they picked my car up. I was like, hold on, Jesus, they take my car.
And then you're like, but you
to God be the glory. But I was that lady. And so I'm glad that to hear that there is some type of people like yourself who are on the other end, whose life gets impacted and realize now numbers, when it comes to numbers for business and things like that, and we need those things. But when it comes to the real heart to heart, it's just, we're every woman. You know what I'm saying? We're every woman. We understand that. When you talk about, working and paying bills, I remember this, just being that person maybe about 10 years ago. Like, I just got to pay my bills. That was just like the start of my day, the end of my day. I was like, just got to pay my bills. But then I realized that life is about, enjoying it, and also being in purpose and alignment and grateful and appreciative and those other things that I was missing and not focusing on. So I'm so glad you brought light to that. So I'm glad you continue to service families, because you had learned that people's relationships, they're eternal and long lasting. They're so sometimes I tell myself, the relationships I have is like $1 billion. Like I feel like a billionaire,
Yes,
you know
and
what I'm saying? Yeah, because of the relationships are so rich, and I want to value and appreciate all my family and friends and listeners and co-hosts like yourself. So thank you for sharing that. I get really passionate about these type of things because I was that lady and I got my car repossessed. And I was that story. So that thank you for sharing that. So what's next for you for financial and financial purpose and coaching platform? What are you going to do next with your greatness?
So I have recently launched Savvy, Single, and Saved.
Oh,
And
say that one more time.
Savvy, Single, Saved.
Oh,
And
savvy, single, and saved. That sounds like me now. Go ahead, tell me more.
Exactly. So when, as we said, you grow in this process, and you're just like you should grow, your business should grow and expand it and expand. And I realized what when you say my why, what got to the heart of my why was I wanted to affect a me then. And what Savvy, Single, and Saved is it does that. It helps sisters, it's specifically women. For some reason, men like my page too, but I appreciate it. But it is targeted towards women who desire to be financially savvy, who are single, but you need to be working in a place of wholeness, not single, in a place of regret. You can choose to be single. Not it's not for everybody, or even if it's just for a season. You need to be whole in that place and not always feeling like you are less than, or somebody that isn't single has more than you or is ahead of you. Because our spouse, our boyfriend, and even our girlfriend relationships, you have to operate from a place of two, not a place of from. Meaning, are you working in brokenness? Are you operating in a place of brokenness? And that's, like I said, this can be your mother-daughter relationship. Any relationship that we have to be whole beings. And that is the single piece of Savvy, Single, and Saved. And then the saved is, again, just the God put us on earth, and Jesus came and left for more than us to just be saved. Yes, God wants us reconciled to him, but he also showed it while Jesus was here. He showed us how to live, and how to live abundantly, how to have more than, how to say, oh, we need money to pay these taxes. Go look in that fish's mouth. We have to walk out our purpose here on earth and do it in a way that glorifies God, and not just, I'm doing all the 10, so that's all I need to do. I'm not killing, I'm not stealing, I'm not, fornicating, I'm not all of the 10. There is more to what we should and what we shouldn't do. And doing that, where we are, choosing it, and, doing it together, and, finding community. That is what Savvy, Single, Save does. So the money piece is the savvy, and that's all of it. We're not talking about credit. Like I said, I would even help people get their credit fixed for free, just because this can be set up on autopilot. What you need to do is make this money work, though. You need your money to be in a place that whatever it is that God has called you to do, you go do it. You're not worried about who's going to pay for what. You're not worried about, well, I need the finances for this. When you can get your money where it's working for itself, working to support what your vision is, working to support wherever God tells you to go. What if your heart is to be a missionary, but you think you can't go and serve God's people because you can't afford it? Put this money on autopilot. Get it working for you, and go do and be what God called you to be.
Wow.
Savvy, Single, Saved.
Oh my greatness, girl. What a group, and what an idea for you to put that together, that business concept. Because I think a lot of women need to hear that. A lot of our listeners need to listen. Because when you said the key thing was that we're set here for purpose, to live our purpose. And then you also said something that resonated with me, that those women are not regretting being single. Because why would you regret being single? Like, of course, I feel like for me, I am a divorcee, but it was like the best single thing in my life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like for me, and I'm not saying that for everyone. And yes, I had to emotionally deal with that, right? But then being whole, I always said I didn't want to be one of those bitter ex-wives. You know, those bitter ex-wives, some of us may have heard of them. They always still fussing about the ex-husband, but you're not married to him, no marriage. You know,
you free. You are free.
Let's talk about something else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to always still be mad because your marriage was dissolved. It's time for you to let it be peaceful, and I do it every day. If my ex pop in my brain, I'd be like, have a great day. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And then be like, and I told my youngest daughter the other day, in my brain, I'm saying through the spirit, I'll be like, it's good. You know what I'm saying? We experienced some things and we had good experience and we had bad, but not for me to live the latter part of my life, bitter. So some women, I'm glad that you called that out for your group and the women in there. You want them to know that they're whole. They are coming from something and giving, they have value. I love that. It's like the women who fill their self up, the oil. Some women are so don't have their oil when it's time because they're not filled up, right? They're like, they're just going on other stuff and other people thinking, not being connected to the greatness that God has put in us and aligned in us. And we're still valuable no matter, what
your status is.
Right, your status. Yeah, and don't be like, I love another thing you said. Sometimes we don't want to single women, we don't have to envy married women because some of them may go home a lot unhappy. I did it a lot of times.
Yes.
A lot of times, big old ring on my finger, go home and be real miserable up in there. Exactly. So I'm not saying that that's not happening. I'm just saying we don't have to envy other people. We could just be happy being. I love your new group. I think I joined today. Your group.
You did.
Okay. Yay! I'm in the group, girl. Okay, now that is awesome. Congratulations to you on your upcoming effect and impact that you have on women.
Thank you.
So how can leaders and organizations reach out to you for speaking engagements, one-on-one coaching, or group programs?
So you can reach me at more info at MoniqueBayless.com. That's MOREINFO at MoniqueBayless.com. You can reach me there and we can, set up a time to talk. I travel, as I already said, like this online platform has just opened up, anywhere. It literally takes the walls off of our businesses. I do a few one-on-ones. I used to do a lot of one-on-ones. But when COVID hit and, you have to rebrand and you have to do different avenues for your business. Actually, it wasn't a hindrance. It was wait a minute, I can actually reach people in Georgia. I can have 5 of my clients. I can service them all on the same day instead of, I have to do, these people on these days, these people on these days. So it actually expanded and strengthened my business.
That is the truth. I did say that there was a lot of challenge in 2020. 2020, we did get a clear vision of ourselves.
Yes.
We got a clear vision of yourself.
Or you realize some need to change.
Well, that part too. Some still are dealing with that. And I was like, got to deal with yourself. And so that's one of my missions is to help people understand it's okay to learn to live in your truth. And it's not easy to live in your truth. That's like my missions in life is that when people work with me, like I'm helping you learn how to believe in yourself and live in your truth and accept where you are and be, full of happiness and joy from that place, and then move into evolvement into total whatever other things you want to evolve into. So I think that a lot of time people really need to remember that. But also, let's see what else. So group trainings are really good. I know when I've done a lot of group trainings, they are some of my best ones. I'm thinking about doing a group training for Sacred Balance Women because I think that when we get together, you can also see our own self and others, and you can learn from others sometimes by just listening in groups. So I love group trainings. I've done several of those with some of my mentors and coaches. So that those are fun. So I know people enjoy those. And what else I wanted to ask you? Um, some other questions. So what are some of your favorite stories that you might have that you have helped and families that you really was like, God, I just thank you that you used me? One of your best or proudest stories that you might, or most accomplished stories with helping women in their wholeness and financial and making money and all that stuff. Tell us, girl.
So one of them, well, I'll have to group it and then I can break it apart because it's a recurring thing. My one-on-one clients, they never ever are ready to go when it's time. Like when you're, depending on what are we doing money? Are we doing money and credit? Are we walking out of the wilderness? Whichever program we're in, are we life skills 101ing it? Once it's time for it to end, they are like trying to come up with reasons to stay in. And I'm like, I can't just keep creating programs, to do this, which is another part of how Savvy Single Saved, came apart. So I could just, okay, well, let me just involve you in the community. And then, like if a new book or something comes out, you can, join in there. But so one of my, and they're all, every one of them are my like when I tell you, I feel like these are my children. It's probably, having to do with why I love working with kids to begin with. I'm extremely maternal. So when I'm with a one-on-one client, we are in the trenches together. One of the things that I love to do is, challenge them to create an additional stream of income. Like they'll have a certain a period of time that, and it can be anything. It can be, hey, I do hair and I added, 5 different types of hair. Mm-hmm. Well, when the gig economy started, I had this one hustler, and this is bad. Just she understood make the money. She was, she thinks she was one of my hardest, but no, she was really one of my easiest because she understood make the money, mm-hmm. and the money will make itself. Mm-hmm. So I challenge her, and she goes and she, gets this additional stream of income. Well, what I do when I'm one-on-one, I'm in the trenches with you. So I do it too. I never tell my clients to do anything that I won't do. So she had me, she was doing, I just went blank. It was a food delivery service. So guess what I had to do?
What you do?
Honey, I looked up, I did Uber. And I was, doing the little check-in, and I said, well, yeah, I did my thing, and I was just gonna, take people to the airport and come on back. Girl, I looked up, and it was like almost $1,000 later, right? And like I said, I'm doing this to be in the trench with you. I ended up, and over that month of December. This was, I guess, 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. The month of December, I made almost $4,000 taking people back and forth to the airport.
What?
Exactly. And it actually launched another part of what I'm adding on. So I'm doing the second edition of What's Up With My Money is that, y'all, the gig economy has done so much for anybody. Like you don't even, some of them, I think with one of the car companies, they don't even do like criminal background checks. They should. Like, I don't even use the service anymore because of that. But the point is, anybody can go and get this money now. Nobody can have any reason or any excuse to not go be due. If money is the issue, it's too much out there. Gig economy is the way to go. So that is my best success story because it opened my eyes to, and now as I'm adding the chapters to What's Up With My Money, I'm including that. I'm including all of the ways that you can go out and get this bread and get it quickly and get it to either if you're trying to pay out of debt, if you're trying to save for your down payment for your house. It's so many avenues you can go to.
Oh, wow. I think that's amazing what you just said, the gig economy, because the 2020 did create a lot of different ways to make money. It
Yes.
was just like, whoa. And some people
You
went
couldn't
to,
miss it.
yeah, some people went to millionaires overnight.
Yes, you
Like
couldn't
I
miss it.
was like watching people like zero, zero, zeros. I was like, oh yeah. So yeah. So I like what you're saying there. There's the other extreme of income because, of course, I believe in many streams of income as well, but I believe
Mhm.
sometimes some of us have way more gifts, and so you start somewhere. I started doing nails back in '92 on my own salon since '93. Went from those levels of just evolving, and then started teaching and speaking, and then now radio and television. So what I'm saying to you is you just evolve from the one thing to the next, and
Yes.
God just and so I always I remember they would say, Miss Robin, how many jobs you got? And I was like, well, it's not jobs, somebody now, a man say, well, what you do? I don't do nothing. I am. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
Again, the I am, I am all of that and all of this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like, what do you do? You become like many streams of income. You can create different streams of income. There's different ways that you can easily make money anymore. So what would you say to our listeners before we wrap it up? We got a few more minutes. What are some like we're close to Christmas and Thanksgiving. Some of our listeners may be still worried about money and still, I talk about many streams of income because I believe you should have many streams of income. You should be,
Yes.
it's just one of the things I've always done. I've always worked more than one thing. When I taught my classes for nails, the salon was closed, so I would do it on Mondays. I did a lot of things on Mondays. The salon's open from Tuesday to Saturday. On Sunday and Monday, I built the fountain. And on Mondays, I did Toastmasters, networking. You see what I'm saying? So Monday was the day to do everything, right? For me in my career path. So you just find time to do the things you love and that you're passionate about that can create those avenues. So what else would you recommend to our guests before we what else other things would you tell them about their finances or being savvy and save? And sexy, is it saved?
Savvy, single, saved.
Oh, okay. Well, I put the sexy in there because
and because you are, and you should. It's
you got to feel
important.
sexy in your own body, in your own mind, ladies. You got to feel that way. It's a good way to feel about yourself. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what other tips would you recommend our listeners today? Do you have any other tips you want to share before we tell them that we'll be back next Monday, So what did you say?
Well, I like what you said with understand that you understand. And I'm assuming when you coach your clients, you're pushing that too. Multiple streams of income are imperative.
Mm-hmm.
We as and I don't know your majority of your listeners, but we as a race of people, we have always since the time we landed here anyway, needed to be strategic and have multiple ways to feed our family and clothe ourselves. So I strongly advise everyone that is listening to challenge yourself tonight, before you go to bed. I want you to pray and I want you to ask God to show you what's another way that He's already given you. And Matt, remember when he talked about the talents and how God gave according to what they already had. So you already have talents. And if you are clocking into work every day, just punching a clock, you need to go back and repent and say, God, I'm tripping. I haven't done anything with this talent that you've given me. I've literally, buried it because I buried it for whatever reason. Ask God what it is you need to do that will bring you an income in quickly. And as Robin was already saying, this is a step process. So, do a gig economy until you can get the money up to launch the business that you've had in your heart. It is steps to it. And I'm saying, don't be like me and just be like, throw up the deuces at your job because God done spoke to your heart. Do it in order. Do it in step. But yes, with these holidays coming up, there are so many ways that you can go out and get $500, $200. And you probably have, if you had any food delivered to your house over these since, COVID hit, be that person. You probably tipped them. The company paid them. On and on, y'all. It is so much out there on the table and so easy to, for real, go out and get it. And we're not talking about a degree. We're talking about people that are just delivering groceries, bringing home $5,000 in a month. 5,000. I accidentally bumped into a comma, trying to be supportive of my client. So the money is out there. So I would do that, just like what Coach Robin said, was go out there and get those income streams up.
Yeah, that's very important. And I love what you said before I got here. Of course, all the guests that I've had on all last 7 shows always leave me going home with homework, right? So I definitely have been just asking God that, because you have these gifts. It's like, what can I make? Or how do I increase my income? And sometimes you do have to take on, you might temporarily be in a job. It's temporarily being a job. I like what you said, ask God to forgive you but you asked him, give you a short time of what date. Sometimes for me, when I've had to work other jobs, I've worked at the restaurant before. When you got 5 kids, we came here self-employed. Oh yeah, I worked at the restaurant and you see me there. I asked you for some, did you need some sugar sweet honey tea? Because I was about to give you some, right? Because I had sorry, I meant to say the other way. That was for my kids. Sorry, people. But if you needed sugar or unsweetened tea, that's what I was trying to say. But I worked as a server, and I remember those days, like taking those odd jobs, but still having my dream in my heart. And because I moved from Ohio to here, had to rebuild our whole clientele, our relationships, learning the whole new area. And being from Midwest, we had a lot of family support and customers in up north that just took care of us on the everyday. We were very blessed to have that experience, right? But then, I had to take on some jobs, and you do have to figure those jobs out for a short period of time.
And you were humble. And didn't come in with, I've been doing this for however many years and I've got this established client. You understood. Humility is a beautiful gift. That is beautiful, Robin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you said it, I heard it. I was like,
the GM that hired me said that the only problem I have with hiring you, Robin, that you've been self-employed. I said, well, give me this job, please, just for a little bit. I promise you, I won't remind you that I've been self-employed. I remember to follow the rules. I just need to be here for a minute. Just going to get these bills up for a second. And she was like, yeah, we're going to let you work here, Robin, because they love my personality, but they were like, they knew I had that entrepreneur spirit. But I did. I said, you're not an entrepreneur right now, Robin, but soon as you clock out, it's on and pop in, right? Because I was going to my office, sitting up late at night, like, what's my next step, Father? What's my next step? Because I know that you called me to be an entrepreneur. You called me to share my gifts, and I know that you have more for me. So just never give up. Never give up on your dream, and always have your dream. When you clock out of work, go home, take a few minutes of yourself and clock into your dream and go to sleep with your dream and working on your dream. That's what I would tell the listeners today, because I don't believe in giving up.
Very good.
You don't give up. You don't give up on your dreams. And there's plenty of money for us out here. So with it being the holidays, one of the things that RFD would say is be mindful that you don't have to spend everything just to say Merry Christmas to someone. You don't have to try to outdo your coworker and get the most expensive food card or whatever. Just you don't have to do that. Then you be at home crying and feeling all depressed and all emotionally upside down. It's not what the season is about. It's about Jesus. It's about love. It's about calling your family members and maybe even sending a card. Because, my budget is always ready to send some cards, right? I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking about you. Okay. And so I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. So those are nice too. Cards are still nice. And I love cards. I'll be getting my cards. I'm like, they thought about me this year. Some people are so consistent at that in my family. Mm-hmm. So just remember that money, make money works, but you have to create good habits with money. Yes. And it ain't easy creating good habits with money, because it took me a long time. I was hard-headed, but I am happy to say I'm not 825, but I'm 750. That's and 750 right. Feels good. 750 feels good, and I'm asking God to let me continue to stay at 750. But it was not easy getting there, guys. I remember when I looked at that and I was like, I'm at 750, and I said, well, now that means all I have to do is increase.
Exactly.
Increase the income, and so the credit is approved. And it does make sense to get your credit and your business credit together, because it opens other opportunities, and it waives fees and interest rates, so it makes you feel good.
That cash back, it's so many.
It's so many perks about being your best self. And that's, again, we are about to wrap it up. Remember, I'm RFD, and I am here every Monday inspiring you to embrace, love, and nurture yourself as you do it to others. We'll see you next Monday. WVOL 147, the mighty Nashville Heritage Station. We love you guys. See you next week.
Very good. That was easy.
You did it. See?
That was super easy.
Getting to be an old pro.
Mr. H, don't make me over here crack up. It's number 7 is a good show. Thank you, baby. Thank you for letting me get my 7th episode.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. H.
You did a wonderful job as usual. And I tell you, don't worry about it. You got it.
I'll see you guys next week. That was the end of the show. Love you guys. My viewers, my Facebook viewers, and YouTube viewers. We'll see you next week. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.